Hello and welcome to episode 20 of the Board States Pod. I am your host, Rookie of the Year, Reggie, joined by the Hooper himself, Air Jazz, and today we have a special guest who is just as talented as Shohei Ohtani and twice as handsome. It's Ruel Gaviola.
Yes, bring it on.
What an intro. Wow, I didn't expect that. Thank you,
There
Prince.
you go. And I'm keeping it sports related because today our main topic is going to be about sports ball. Please don't click away. It's one thing that we have in common is we all love sports and we all are board gamers. So we're going to talk about sports themed games and just like the history of that. But then after that, we're going to do to our En La Mesa, which is our first impression segment, and we each brought a game. So you get 3 first impressions. Jazz will start us off with Star Wars Battle of Hoth. I'll be talking about Puerto Rico 1897, and Jazz will be talking about Brink here. So that will be at the end of the show. But before that, before everything, we always like to start with our state of mind. It is our trivia segment, and I've been waiting to have a guest because I've had an idea. We did a game show a couple weeks ago, Family Feud. Today, we're going to do Price is Right. Okay, are you ready for some Price is Right? Awesome. So anyway, Ruel, thank you for being here. I just want to say we go way back. Jazz and I and you were on OFPG Voices doing some content for the Our Family Plays game, who just had an amazing convention. And we always knew, like, from the get-go, you had to be one of the first few guests on here. So thank you for being here. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Just talking about OFPG, I mean, they're amazing, and the community they continue to build is just such a source of inspiration to all of us. And it's great that we got to connect and continue to connect as we talk about sports ball today.
Me and Ruel go even way back before that with Tim.
Way backer.
Yes,
Way backer.
with Tim from Meepleville Board Game Cafe. He was
Yeah.
doing a online content creator, like it was like a live session with a bunch of different like new content creators in the space. And it's the first time I met Ruel. It was more Meeples the merrier. It was like a show that even took off on BGG, on Board Game Geek, where they were doing live stream. So we go way back, Ruel, and I know we talk a lot about sports, so this is perfect.
Yeah. That's pandemic times, the pandemic era, right?
Yes.
That's great. I love it. I love it. There's just so much connections here. We're homies. That's what's gonna be great. For Price is Right, you're gonna be opponents though. Okay.
Okay.
And Jazz, remind me, who's your baseball team? Are you a Mets or a Yankees?
I'm a Yankees fan, baby.
You're a Yankees fan. Okay, good. Just like we talked about this. My dad's Yankees fan, so that's good. So Yankees versus Dodgers, a rivalry as old as time here today. I have 7 items, so I guess we need to get to it actually. So I got 7 different items from my local game shop. Okay, I'm gonna give it a shout out, but I'm gonna actually need both your hands like up most of the time. I don't want any typing at all looking these up here. So I'm just gonna give you random things that they sell at Guardian Games here in Portland, which is one of my local games. There's a lot of great local game shops, but if I had to choose one, it has to be Guardian Games. So I wanted to shout out Guardian Games here in Portland and in Aloha.
Yeah.
And so I've got random stuff here, and Price is Right rules. You're gonna each get a guess. We'll alternate who goes first. And it's just whoever's closest without going over. Okay, remember, without going over. So if you have to do anything, you can lowball. And today, something I've never had, the Puerto Rican cuisine that serves as our victory points today are called pinchos. Okay, pinchos, which also come from. I know
you've never had them, Reggie.
Never had them.
Oh.
It looks like. I was looking it up and I'm like, wait, this is amazing. It looks like yakitori from Japan. I'm like, every culture puts meat on a stick, and grills it and marinates it. So that's what these are. They're like grilled, marinated, usually charcoal grilled, like steak or chicken or something. What do you have a favorite? Pincho, Jazz?
Yes, it's normally chicken with some onions, some red peppers, as well as pineapple is always on there.
Oh my goodness.
It's incredible.
Wait, okay, so that's exactly what you're playing for. So there's 7 up for grabs with chicken, pepper, onions, and pineapple. Pinchos. Here we go. So this is a new hotness small box card game that I think we actually just played online together on BGA. So the first one, and we'll start with our guest first, is Denup is actually how it's pronounced. I thought it was down up.
Yeah.
But Denup, because if you flipped over the letters, they are the exact same if you rotate it. I didn't know that's why they're doing that. But anyway, Denup, Ruel, just throw out a US dollars. How much is Guardian Games selling Denup for?
Okay, so this is actually pretty tough because the state of the economy these days, I feel like everything's just like $20 more expensive. So what do I say? It's a small card game.
Yes.
We played it recently on Good Mornings or Good Time Society. I'm gonna say retail price at Guardian Games $16.99.
$16.99. Okay.
Yeah.
Jazz?
I think it's a little bit higher. I think of the economy. I'm gonna slightly lowball it just to be careful, but I'm gonna say $19.99.
$19.99. Those are both great guesses. There's some great deals here in Portland, people.
Oh my goodness.
This is a $14.95 game, so it's under 15, and it comes in one of those like cardboard tuck boxes, which I don't love, but I think that's what saves some of the price here. So honestly, because both of you went over, I'll give it to the person who's closer. So Ruel gets the first Biñho with the $16.99.
Man, I think I'm flying out to the Northwest, Pacific Northwest to buy board games.
And guess what? We don't got sales tax out here either.
What?
So
okay, that's even a better deal. Oh my god!
Yes,
I feel like pre-tariffs, this game would probably be like $9.99, right?
You're so right.
Yes.
No, you're so right. Yeah, even that. Yeah, that's so you got to keep that factor in. And this is like at the time of recording, what do these things cost? All right, another game. I've got a bunch of stuff on here for fun, but another game is Lord of the Rings: Duel for Middle Earth. Jazz. Lord of the Rings: Duel for Middle Earth. This is the Seven Wonders Duel reimplementation.
I feel like I know what I paid for it, but I'm gonna got some really good deals over there in the Northwest. So let's go $29.99.
Okay, $29.99 for Jazz. I love that.
That was exactly my guess, Jazz. You stole my guess.
Okay.
So do I? Oh, I just do like one penny higher. I'm gonna do $30.
$30.
And I think you got it because I know what I paid
I think
for
you
it.
nailed it. I think you nailed it.
It's $39.95.
Yes.
And also looks like it's $95. Yeah, so it's $40. It's like a $40 game. So Ruel, another victory by 1 cent.
Nice.
So
And
it is good. It does have a lot of quality in there.
Yeah,
but
I
it
love
is a
that
lot.
game.
It's a great
For that
game.
size box, 2-player, it is interesting here. Okay, I think this is maybe outside of your wheelhouses. Ruel might have hinted he does this. We're going to Magic the Gathering, a single Marvel Magic the Gathering booster pack. How much did you pay? You pay for one Marvel? And Ruel's first here.
Yeah.
So
when it comes to Magic stuff, I have no idea when it comes to pricing. So I'm just gonna throw out $7.99.
okay, $7.99.
That was my exact guess.
Jazz, you and I are right here, brother. We are right here.
It's Wavelength. We need to play Wavelength.
So I'm gonna
Or
go.
Jigsaw.
I'm gonna go a penny over and go $8.
$8.
Because I think the
gosh.
Marvel IP might take it up a little bit.
Yeah, you're
So
right.
you
You're
are
right.
correct. The Marvel IP does take it up, but this is what's so funny. The Magic community is very upset how expensive cards we got. A typical pack is $4.99. It should be $5 MSRP.
Okay.
But now the Marvel packs and maybe the Hobbit packs and stuff, the ones with the IP, those are $5.95. So they're $6 for the expensive.
Whoa.
Yeah, so
That's
still pretty cheap.
cheap.
Yeah, for a regular pack. Yeah, getting to Marvel or getting to Magic, baby.
Wow.
But Ruel wins again for
Wow,
he is
listen,
3
I'm
for
getting
3.
wiped out here.
Wow.
Okay, this is the hardest one, I think, because it's just hard to gauge how they do it. They also have used games here, at least at the Aloha location, which is my preferred location.
Okay.
So a used copy of Stefan Feld's Carpe Diem. Okay, this is the older version of Carpe Diem, if that helps, but it probably doesn't. So, Jazz, you get to go first here.
Now you throw me off with the used games because we have a really.
Yes.
My local game store, Mr. E's, has some really good deals on used games. And you said this is the older copy, so this is the original box cover, not the white box cover,
with the
right?
gray, not the white
box.
box that I have. The white box, the gray box. If that helps you, dearest gentle listeners out there who are screaming at your radios at home.
This is tough because I think Ruel's going to go like a penny over me again.
Again, he's going to do it, yeah.
Actually, I might go a penny under you because the whole used game thing, you know?
Let's go $23.
$23. Okay.
That is a great guess.
That's exactly how much I paid for Agent Avenue yesterday, which is so red. It was a 23.
So this version of the game, it's Aaliyah, right? The OG,
Yes,
I think. Yeah,
Aaliyah,
and those are ugly games. So I mean, no, you know, no disrespect.
No shade.
no shame.
But they're ugly as hell.
But they're ugly. Yeah. Oh man, I like that. How do I go a little? And again, it's tariffs and it's used. You know what? I'm gonna do the old Price is Right. $1. I gotta do $1.
$1. Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true. Without going over, so it doesn't really matter. So if Jazz went over, you just win.
Yeah.
And that is correct. It is $17.95.
Wow. Whoa,
Only 18
all right.
bucks.
Man,
So
you guys are getting some
Ruel
good
wins
deals in that Pacific Northwest.
Seriously.
Yeah, hey man, that's what I'm saying.
Wow.
Now here's a big one. Oh, sorry, I did 2 TCG things. I didn't mean to do this. Okay, so we're gonna go for a pre-order. Okay, of Star Wars Unlimited Ashes of Empire booster box. Okay, so a booster box is like, I don't know, 12 or 15 packs, something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe it's important to know, but yeah.
I think it's 24 packs the last time I remember.
Is it 24?
Yeah, 24 packs. Okay.
I think playing.
Ruel, you're first.
Oh, is this me? Okay. So
Yep.
based on what we just paid for Marvel, which I already forgot, times 20 something. For Star Wars, I'm gonna say the box is $59.99.
$59.99.
Yep.
Okay. Got you, Jazz.
It's crazy because I remember paying for booster boxes for Unlimited like $110.
Oh, then I'm low.
That's what I remember paying.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go. What did Ruel say again?
He said $59.99.
Oh, maybe I'll get this one and say $60.
Yeah, I think you're good.
I think that's a good move
That's a great
for you,
move.
Jazz. And you are correct. It is $99.95 for a 24 packs. It is 24 packs, so that is a lot. Good job, Jazz. Got his first dub. That's
right.
a pincho for you. Pincho for you. So
I
there you
needed
go.
one. I needed one in my tummy.
You need one, yeah. I know. And it's morning here, so we're doing great. Awesome. Okay, I only get 2 more. Next one is going to be a game that I actually do want to add to my collection. Newer hotness. Unmatched now has the Stars and Stripes box that has 4 U.S. I'm feeling like a red-blooded American after the World Cup. Okay, so I want to get John Henry and Paul Revere in the game. So Unmatched Stars and Stripes. This is for you, Jazz. You get first pick.
Oh, you guys got some really good prices on games.
I know.
Now, okay,
I know.
so can I ask a question on this? Is this the one that has 4 characters in it, or is it just
4 characters? This is a 4-character
Yes,
box.
4-character
Yes.
box.
A good question. Yeah.
I'm gonna go $34.50.
$34.50. Okay.
Ooh. I feel like pre-tariff, this might have been a $29.99 game. I'm gonna go. What was Jazz's guess? 30.
He said $34.50.
I'll go $34.51.
34.51.
I think
He's a
you
gamer,
got
people.
it. $34.99.
And guess what?
Watch it.
It's $44.95. So it's a $45 game. Yep. So yeah, I think that's how much the 4-player boxes are in the 40s. Yeah, and the 2-player ones are usually in the 20s.
Okay.
Is that what they're supposed to be? I almost did this, but it would have been too hard. But they have the Jurassic Park one there, the Raptors one that's like super hard to find, used, and it's $99.
Oh, no way.
I'm like, I don't know who's gonna buy that, but I respect it because I love Unmatched. All right, last one. Sorry, I should have just did 5 or 6, but we got to do one more. This is I want to do one accessory.
Okay.
This is the Dragon Shield brand, not sponsored, European mini board game sleeves 100 count. This is what you'd use for like viticulture, for example.
Okay, so the little
100 count of mini European sleeves. And I think,
Is that back to me?
Ruel, you get the last one. Yep, you get the last first choice here.
Confession time. I don't buy sleeves.
That's awesome. Good for you.
Yeah. I used to buy sleeves, but then once I started doing more live streaming and video work, the glare from the lights and stuff kills it with the sleeves, so I just don't even bother with them anymore.
You do have to get matte. If you can get the matte ones,
The matte
a lot
ones
of
are
times
fine.
that blocks it,
Yeah.
but it's tough.
So for a pack of 100, the little ones, the Euro says, I'm
Little
going to
ones.
say they're $9.99.
$9.99. Okay.
All right, I'm gonna go under that. I'm gonna say about like I'm gonna go $1.
Nice.
$1.
The
And
$1 bid, I
Jazz
love that.
wins it because it's $4.95. Yeah, only $5. I was like, okay, Dragon Shield, I need 100 count of those. I have a lot of games that have the little ones. I don't usually sleeve the little ones because I'm like, I only sleeve if we're going to be shuffling a lot. You know, like a Marvel Champions, for example.
Yeah, I'm like Ruel. I don't sleeve. I used to sleeve like heavy deck builders, like, and even now, like, I just raw dog it, baby.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go. Let them go. Let your game just raw dog the world here. Yeah.
Wait, I gotta ask: have you guys watched that show Shrinking on? I think is it Apple?
It's so
I've
sad.
Seen
I
it,
still
but
haven't watched it.
I've seen it on TV, but I haven't watched it yet.
It's so good. Highly recommend. And Harrison Ford absolutely steals every scene he's in. And,
I've got to check it out then.
One of the phrases we just said, I'm not going to spoil it. One of the phrases we just said reminded me of it. So please go watch Shrinking. It's terrific.
Yeah, I really want to watch it. There's so much good TV out there, though. It's just I get stuck in all my nerd TV. So like I'm watching like my Marvel stuff and Star Wars stuff. So yeah.
If you're a fan of Ted Lasso, you will like Shrinking. It's
okay.
the same creative team behind it. Yeah.
Sold me. Speaking of sports, there you go. That's
right.
Perfect. Ted Lasso got us all into football, as we say. Going into our main topic here. We're talking about sports ball. Again, don't be scared away. Dearest gentle listeners, I promise you we're going to be talking about board games here. But I did want one thing when we were just kind of tossing around ideas, we're like, one thing we talk about a lot as a trio is sports. We love our major sports. So I think maybe we'll let our guests talk first of just what's your like history with sports in terms of playing and watching. And then how do you find like, a connection to sports fandom and board game nerddom, if any?
Yeah, so with me, one of my core memories growing up was watching American football with my dad. That was his Sunday thing, like a lot of American fathers, in our case, Filipino American. He would sit on a Sunday and watch football, and one of my core memories is he would ask me, "Hey, get me a beer." So as a little kid, I was like, "Yay, I get to get a beer from my dad," you know. And he always had his Michelob beers, and he would drink one, and that was it for the day. And then he took me to my very first football game when I was a little kid, and we lived in the LA area, so it was all about the Rams. But he took me to a Rams versus Raiders preseason game, and for whatever reason, that's when I started my Raiders. I joined the Raiders Nation right then and there. Something about those silver and black uniforms and watching the Raiders, they had the bad guy image, and that just attracted me to that. So that's the start of my sports fandom. Then eventually, being in LA, I grew up to love the Dodgers and the Lakers, of course. And I don't really watch much hockey. It wasn't really a thing. But yeah, as far as playing sports, I played a little basketball when I was a kid. You know, I never played like varsity sports or anything. But
I was gonna say,
I'd go down to the park and just the public park and do pickup games, basketball, and then me and my brothers, when they were old enough, we'd play baseball in the backyard, that type of stuff. And then years later, I got into wiffle ball. I really enjoyed wiffle ball. That was my jam. It was funny because I didn't really play as a kid, but later on, as I was older, and I enjoyed adult beverages a little more than I did. There's a bunch of us that just got into wiffle ball. So it's so funny. But yeah, my fandom is definitely based on my geography, where I was located, just the whole LA thing. And I was fortunate growing up that I grew up in the 80s, so watching Showtime Lakers, that was like a thing with Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, James Worthy, et cetera, et cetera. I've gone to, I think by last count, I've gone to 8 different championship parades for the Lakers. Super proud of that.
Wow.
Yeah, so
imagine.
It never gets old. I'm going to tell you right now. My brothers and I still have a tradition. Like, if the Lakers win the championship, we all take the day off work, take the train into LA or drive down there, and we meet up. There's a specific restaurant. We meet up in Little Tokyo, eat there, and then we go to the parade, which is down the street.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's a little bit about my sports ball history.
Yeah.
What about y'all?
That's great.
Yeah. It's crazy. For me, like, I grew up at early age as a single mother who was herself like a track star in high school. So I guess that's where my love of sports kind of came from. So I remember she used to just take me outside and, kind of wiffle ball kind of thing. And, that's how I kind of grew my love of baseball. We moved from New York to New Jersey. I was early, like, kindergarten, but I had a very heavy influence with sports from my mom at that age. But an old boyfriend that she met when we were visiting New Jersey, was in the military. This is my father, my stepdad, but he's my dad. He's raised me. Was really big into sports, played sports in the military. And I guess he kind of took me under his wing and kind of fostered me getting involved in activities. I remember one day we moved out of, we lived in a city here in Camden, which is, a rough neighborhood in here in Jersey, at one point, the murder capital of the U.S. a couple, years ago, but moved into an up and coming, suburban community. We were with nothing to come into one of these like well-known established communities, and you said we mattress on the top of the 87 Cutlass Supreme pulling up, and people were probably like, oh my goodness, look at these guys. Right. So, nice. My dad said, he took me, he said, came home one day with a wooden bat and the plastic baseball glove. He says, let's go. I said, where are we going? He says, you'll see. Took me to the baseball signups at the local town and signed me up for baseball. And it was over from there. I remember going to my very first practice and game was like with blue jeans and a t-shirt. And I see all the other kids in my town having, baseball pants. I was like, what is this? Like, but listen, I grew a love for baseball, and that's where it was for me. Like, I wanted to, be a big leaguer one day. I did play some basketball. I played football in high school. I guess my freshman year of high school, but it was baseball through and through for me. My parents did so much for me to get, go to camps and, put money on credit cards that we didn't have. Cause we lived in a very affluent, town, but we were what you would consider the poor people in the town. But my parents didn't want to look like we didn't have the money. So instead of telling the coach we didn't have the money, they would just charge it all on credit cards that we didn't have. So we would go. Now my parents are doing well, right? They paid off all those bills. But I went to college. I had a chance at playing D1. I had a bunch of D2 offers, but I decided to stay local, close to my family, and play D3. And I had a knee injury my freshman year. Kind of hit a little bit of a depression stage at one point, trying to rehab. So I rushed back my sophomore year to break the starting lineup again. And I rushed back too soon. So I was like, I'm gonna take another year off and kind of work on doing that thing, getting rehabbing. And in that process, I was diagnosed with a GI disease. If you're familiar with Crohn's, I have ulcerative colitis. And that kind of was a up and down for me. So it's like my baseball my career in baseball, my aspirations kind of diminished a lot. But outside of that, I kind of just pressed forward, right? And I think in the midst of like me being, I'm not playing sports anymore. Like, what am I going to do? I met my wife and I found board games. That's kind of how I did. And it kind of rejuvenated my love for competition. But I always love watching sports. Growing up, my dad was Ruel, you said your dad was a Raiders fan. My dad was in the military. He was out on the West Coast, so he became a fan of the Raiders. But he grew up in the East Coast, so he was a fan of the Eagles. So he was stationed in Philadelphia. So he's a big Philly sports fan. My mom is a big New York sports fan, so that's where I get my love for New York sports, and me being born in New York. So growing up watching sports with my dad and my younger brothers, always every big event, we were there watching it. Now with kids, it's a little bit difficult for me but I kind of give that to my daughters. My daughters love playing sports, and that's what we do. I didn't get the boy to, teach them baseball. So I'm in a realm of stuff I don't know. Soccer, which was my wife's, she was being recruited for soccer and track. But my kids play soccer and they play lacrosse. It's a sport that I don't know about, but I just spend a lot of money in.
Yeah, lacrosse, man. Lacrosse is getting big over here on the West Coast too. Okay, so that's great.
Nice.
I love that. I'll do like my TLDR here. The fastest thing for me is I always loved sports growing up, and I think the connection I'd make is like that, what you just said, Jazz, of like loving competition. Like I always just loved playing games. I loved playing outside. I loved video games. And then now obviously board games and card games. So it's interesting. I do think there's a stigma of like sports are for jocks and board games are for nerds. And like, I think we all like games. I am trapped in like, I'm one of those weirdos where like by 8th grade, I was probably like 150 pounds with like 1% body fat and like 5'11". So I kind of grew pretty big, pretty quick. And so I when I was a kid, I really thought I was going to be MLB. My dad also loves baseball, Yankees fan. My earliest memories are going to Mariners games growing up. I love the Mariners. It's just that's my team there. But we play baseball. I thought I was going to be in the MLB till I was like 11 years old. And then boys start pitching right about 60 miles an hour, right about fifth grade, and I could not hit a ball. And what's so funny is I come to find out, I never knew I needed glasses and contacts. I think vision was the biggest issue, but couldn't hit. I could run the bases faster than anybody, steal bases, and I could catch, right? And so right about sixth, seventh grade, I switched over to American football. And again, I also grew right about then too. And so football became really nice being large. And so I played a lot of football. Eighth grade, I did like all four sports, track, wrestling, basketball, and football. Stayed in basketball in ninth grade. I was on the ninth grade team. But then by sophomore year of high school, I was varsity track and football. I was a hurdler. And our teams are huge. I was a big high school, so it's like you couldn't be on every team. It was like 2,500 people at my high school. But played football. I did the same thing. I stayed local, and I went and played Division III football. Funnily enough, I actually was much more interested in playing sports than watching sports. I was never really a big fan of watching it. Now, the World Cup recently has kind of got me into soccer. I was so anti-soccer until about 3 weeks ago. It's hilarious. Like,
oh, wow.
When my daughter was born, I said, hey, I looked her in the face. I said, no sports where you can have a draw, okay? There's no ties. Anything where you can tie, that's not happening. It's not. But now I don't know. I'm like, soccer is I get it. Why it's a beautiful game in the world game. Like, I can't deal with the flopping, but that's it. But pretty much I watch the NBA and I watch the NFL and I watch the baseball playoffs. That's like, I don't watch the regular season. So I'm a Mariners fan, a Seahawks fan, and a Blazers fan until the Seattle Supersonics come back, and then I'm dropping the Blazers like last week's leftovers. And now we got Portland Fire is a women's NBA. I'm a Seattle Storm fan from my whole life. And we've got and now I'm like, what's my soccer team going to be? Am I going to root for the Timbers or Thorns or the Sounders? So I'm excited to see if I get into MLS. We'll see. But yeah, what are you going to say? Were you going to say something real?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I can totally relate to that story of like, hey, I never liked soccer my entire life, right? But then Michelle and I, my wife of now 13 years, when we started dating, she has a daughter from a previous marriage. She was doing the whole soccer mom thing. So I didn't want to be that guy like, oh, what's offsides? Or, why is there ties? So I did everything I could to learn about the beautiful game. And as I got into it, I was like, this is actually a beautiful game. And
awesome.
My moment of like turning over into a huge fan, women's soccer, when they made the run, I think it was in it was the team with Abby Wambach and
Abby Wambach, yeah.
When Rapinoe did that pass like in extra time and like there was like 1 minute left in the game and she scored the equalizer off a header. I was
so awesome.
Greatest game ever. Yeah. So we started going to, we were LA Galaxy fans. We used to sit in the fan section with the hardcores.
Did you ever see Zlatan? Didn't he play for LA Galaxy?
He played after we had started going. We saw the team with Landon Donovan,
Beckham.
The beautiful guy. Yeah, Beckham.
Beckham, yeah.
Wow. So we got to see their 6th title. We were there at the championship game. It was amazing. It is a beautiful game.
It is. Yeah. I think we have a 3-way crossover here because I had the same kind of like stigma towards soccer.
Yeah.
And it was just one of those things, coming from like my family came from the inner city. Like inner city, you played basketball, football, or baseball. There was no other sports that you looked at it, right? And, when I met my wife was a soccer star and a track star in high school. And she had got, offers to do dual sport in college. But she went to a smaller D3 school that was ranked in the nation. Like there were the number 1 and 2 teams ranked for soccer. But she was a pre-med student. So she's like, I can't do this. So I'm just going to continue with track. They even asked her. And I was like, I went to soccer games visiting her at college, and I was like, wow, this is a really good game. I had kids that I went to played sports with that played soccer, and it was a sport, so I would go out and play with them, right? A lot of kids in my town. But it was one of those things I never like really got into it. So I got into it with my wife with, my love for soccer, but my wishing that I had played soccer was in college. when the coach would be, all right, okay, run 4 miles now. Like it's at 6 o'clock in the morning. We had to wake up.
I know. It's
go run 4 miles.
How much they run.
And I was at the back of the pack, and I was always one of the faster kids.
You had that knee though. It's your knee.
Yeah, I had that sprint. But the thing is, I could always sprint and be in the at the top of the pack. But when it came to running distance, man, I was at the back of the pack, and all the soccer players were always front. I was like, man, I wish I played soccer. And I said, when I have kids, regardless of what sport they play, they're going to start with soccer so they can build stamina.
And also, if you don't start with something like soccer early, you can't do it. They were saying the example of like soccer players, like if you didn't start by like 5 years old, there's pretty much no way you're going to make it into the pros, which is so different than like American football. Jason Kelsey, shout out to the Eagles. He was explaining how like Jordan Mailata played for the very first time American football in the NFL.
Yeah.
Because he played rugby. And they're like, that would never happen in soccer. There's no chance of that happening in any level in the US, in anywhere in the world, because you just don't have that foot dexterity. And I do want to shout out my wife's alma mater is the University of Portland, which is where Megan Rapinoe went as well.
Oh, nice.
So she's a Portland one. So, okay, that's awesome. We're going to talk about some games here. I did want to just say, I think the dearest gentle listeners will laugh at this, and as we get older and older, I play basketball every week just at my local 24. There's a group of us who play at the night, and we call it orange dexterity ball when I tell my gamers, because I'm like, all sports are just dexterity games. And I'm in a flag football league, and I play every Sunday, and I'm telling you guys, like, and you guys, you're gonna laugh at me for saying about age, but I swear every year I'm like, wow, I am just this much slower and this much less shifty and this much less durable every single year. It is crazy. Ages, father time is undefeated.
It definitely is.
Definitely true. Definitely true.
Awesome. Okay, so let's get to the meat and potatoes. There's chapters here, so if you were just skipping ahead, welcome back. If you just skipped over our sports talk that you probably see here, we're gonna actually talk about board games here. Jazz is going to bring us, we each just brought 2 games. We're going to be a really brief, just like, here's a sports related game. And I'm sure there's going to be some edge cases, or we're going to be doing some like iffiness with how sports related it is. It is not a big theme in board games. And I think we should talk about at the end, like, what sports would we want, like, or right now, just is there a sport that you feel like would translate well? Like, I feel like American football should have some better games.
I would agree.
At some of them,
I would agree.
100% agree.
Yes, 100% agree. I think there's a lot of games that just haven't really been done well. I like to see more like solid baseball games coming out. Same thing with like soccer games. Like, you name it. I don't think there's a large selection of games that are done really well that would bring in the casual gamer who's not really a sports ball fan, but have them sit at the table and enjoy the game. That's just where I think.
And that's what happens with a lot of good themes. Like we talk about Wingspan over and over, play the music, is that play the bird sounds, is like that brought in someone like me who was into nature and into birds. It's like maybe a sports themed game is going to bring in that athlete who's never played a board game, or vice versa. So,
I think that's the sort of the difficulty in finding a good sports game, because what's the where's that line? Like, do you cater towards the hardcore sports fan or the hardcore gamer fan? It's really tough to find that balance, I think.
Totally.
So like, do you put a bunch of sports jargon into it, which immediately is going to turn off board game fan, or do you do the board game thing, which honestly is immediately going to turn off the sports fan? So it's really tough to find that balance, and I think that's why we don't see as many good sports games as we should.
Totally. All right, Jazz. Go for it. What's your first one?
We're a World Cup season. We're getting ready for, I would go with Biñho Classic. It's a dexterity game. It's one that I was turned on to by the guys from One Board Family. I know Ryan and Bob are huge Biñho fans. They have Biñho tournaments down at their local like breweries and shops down there. It's a dexterity game. It looks like a soccer field. It has little pins on it. And I just recently watched Board Game Bullock's YouTube channel just this week. Or I think it was last week, a few weeks with the World Cup going on. And he was talking about, football, because obviously everywhere other than the U.S. calls it football, right? But he was talking about the I guess ranking like 5 games that were good. And there's a game that I can't remember the name of it. It's escaping me. There's a game that this completely reminds of, but previously it was like it would have like a little thing that you would actually flick the ball, in essence, like kicking. But this is like a little soccer game. You flick it with your hands. There's a ball, and there's little pins that are in the board that are like the defenders on your team and the opposite team, and you have red cards and yellow cards. So depending on like, you can't touch your goal, or you get an automatic red card. If you flick the ball out of the like arena, you get a yellow card. 2 yellow cards get the red card. And when you have a red card, what you do is you flip a coin, and dependent on what side it lands on, it'll determine whether you get the choice of which pin of your opponent's gets removed, or your opponent gets to choose which of their own pins get removed. And obviously it opens up the playing field for you to have a little bit better of an angle to score. It's just a game that I've played with everyone. My kids love it. People who are just at a bar, or like, you know, at a family, which is having some drinks, will love it. It's a fun dexterity game. You don't have to be a sports fan to enjoy this. Biñho classic. It's just great.
I have seen Biñho on all the social medias, like everywhere, especially this year because of the World Cup. And this looks awesome, Jazz. Like, I feel like this would be a huge hit with my family. I mean, it's super easy to explain. You explain it perfectly. It's like a little miniature soccer field or a football field right there, and you're just flicking the little ball. I love the idea, the concept, and it's something I need to look into getting a copy of. I know they're not cheap because it's, you know, a really nice board, got those pins and everything, but I feel like it captures the competition of sports pretty much on a tabletop.
I agree.
Awesome. I do think it's weird with these games, like Biñho is on BGG and like Crokinole on BGG, but then it's like, this is basically foosball or billiards. Like, where's the line? Like, where's the dexterity games that don't make it to Board Game Geek? Because like Biñho Classic looks awesome, and I'm just like, why are these other dexterity games not on BGG also? But it looks great. I think that it actually looks really cool, and I've never played Crokinole either. I hate to admit it, but I really would like to try. I know. I want to. It was at Origins, and I should have just sat down and played, but I just wanted to play with someone who really knew it.
Don't feel bad, Reg. I'm staring at my recently backed on Kickstarter, like last year, Crokinole board that's unplayed.
Okay.
It's probably beautiful though. Yeah.
I wish we all had private planes right now. We could all fly somewhere, and I could teach you Crokinole. It's the greatest dexterity game ever.
I know, and everybody loves it. I need to play it, because I love like bocce and shuffleboard. Like, I love those things in real. So it's if only
it is the tabletop version of all those games, and it's terrific. I learned it a few years ago. A shout out to my man Edward back in the day, pre-pandemic. Taught it to me, and immediately I went out and bought a board, and just it is a staple in my collection. And
if only we weren't in all different states, in different board states, unfortunately. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll go next here, and I've got one that is about bicycle racing. And it's actually going to be Velomino that I'm talking about from 2020. I almost went with Flamme Rouge, which I have, but I'm going to go with Velomino. And so, again, not a sport that probably any of us played. I mean, I don't know if you guys were like little Lance Armstrongs at some point in your life, but it's a card game. It has this really cool, like, wacky animal art that animals on a bunch of bicycles, and it is really a shedding and ladder climbing game. So you're going to be playing sets of cards down in front of you, and then the next player has to beat them. And once you shed all your cards, you get a little bonus. You get this jersey that's like a little pun. It's like peas and carrots, which is some sort of French pun that I don't understand. You know, you'd have to speak French to understand the pun. It comes in this nice box from 25th Century Game, and it's really fast. It's like 5 minutes per round. You know, they're really quick ones. You're making these combos, and what I really like is there's these hare cards that are like the rabbit type hare, HARE, and they're really fast. They're just a single card that are denominations of 5. So it's like 25, 45, 50. They're just one single card that's a lot of points. Otherwise, you're adding up the cards. So if I had 4 2s, then I forget how it adds up. The math is really interesting how it works. It's not like Scout in that way, but it's basically if I played, a 2, a 3, and a 7, it's 3 total cards, so that's 10 points each, plus you get the weakest card is a 2, and so you add that together. So it'd be 3 cards would be 30 plus a 2, right? So if you do, the example is 2, 3, 7 would be 32. Whereas a 4 of a kind, if they're all 4s, that would be 44 because it's 4 cards. So 4 times 10 is 4 plus the lowest number, which is 4. So you get 44. So then I could beat that with just the single 45 card. It's really, really straightforward. You go back and forth. I really enjoyed it. I actually think I gave this to a friend of mine. I was like, where is my copy of this? Because it says 2 to 5 players on the box, but it's really a 2-player variant, which I don't love when games do that. It's like a 2-player, it's really a 3 to 5 player game. And my wife and I liked it, but it's much better at 3 to 5. So I gave it to someone who actually, he still plays it to this day. So shout out to Velomino, a Bruno Cathala, that you maybe haven't heard of. Have either of you played it or know anything about it?
I have not. I know I've seen it. It's, 25th Century puts out some great small box card games, but, I'd be interested in playing anything that they put out. And the way you explained it, this is one I think would be fun.
Yeah. Reggie, we have similar experiences. I had it, enjoyed it at 3 or more. When I played the 2-player variant, I was like, I don't need this in my collection anymore. And
exactly.
I passed it on. It's
such a fun thing to do. Yeah,
totally.
You're up, Ruel. What you got for your first? Yeah, what's your first sports themed game? We both have our suspicions which one you might talk about. We'll see.
We all know where I'm going with this. We're talking Baseball Highlights 2045.
Yeah, baby.
For my money, it's the best sports board game out there. Designer Mike Fitzgerald came up with this game years ago, and it is a deck building game, hand management game. It's set in the future, 2045, the near future. Baseball has transformed into a game where there are humans who are called naturals, cyborgs who are part robot, and then pure robots. And each one has different abilities, and you're playing little mini games of baseball. And that's my favorite part of this game is the game of baseball itself. Usually, a lot of people think, before this pitch clock, it was like long, extended. No, you play 6 cards. That's it. It's just 6 cards back and forth, you and your opponent. Back in the day, there was like a 3 and 4 player game. This is a 2-player game or a solo game. I wouldn't recommend it 3 or 4. And actually, the new version, I think it's the Bases Loaded edition. They just say it's a 2-player game, which it always has been. So it's a deck building game where you're playing a card and then your opponent's going to react. And that's where I really like the energy of this game is I'm going to threaten, like, say, a hit or 2 at home plate. And then as you play your card and you can take away hits or, cause automatic outs, etc. It's still baseball, but I think it's enough of the deck building aspect where people who are non-sports fans will appreciate it. And actually, my favorite partner to play this with is my buddy Daryl, who enjoys sports. He loves playing sports, but he doesn't like baseball. But he will play Baseball Highlights 2045 anytime I ask him to. He loves the game, and it's because of the deck building and the hand management. You're going to play eventually a best-of-7 series. The game's only about 45 minutes, but you do have this really cool, full experience of baseball, and I love it. To me, it's got some really cool humor as well, all the different names. Like, they couldn't use professional baseball player names, of course, but so they mash things up. Like, they'll just take, like, hey, it's one of my favorite, like, Sammy, instead of Sammy Sosa, it's is it Sammy Bonds or something like that? They mash up names and stuff.
Barry, that's great.
Yeah. So I love it. I feel like it's Mike Fitzgerald's masterpiece. He's actually done other games in this line. He's done Basketball Highlights, Crunch Time, and also Football Highlights 2052. The football one, didn't like. I wasn't a fan of it. Mm-hmm. The basketball one, I actually did enjoy, but it's different because you're more of a coach and you're playing basketball plays rather than individual players. It's a really interesting twist. It's more abstract than Baseball Highlights. But so for my money, Mike Fitzgerald's got the best sports game out there, Baseball Highlights.
Okay, you heard it here first, folks. I'm sure it is, and I'm even you just saying it now. I remember when the Bases Loaded edition came out, or on crowdfunding, and I was like, I've always wanted to play this game. I love baseball. I actually love the idea of setting it in the future, like the whole cyborg thing and like naturals. Like, I think that's so clever. And even just hearing you say, like, someone who's never played a sport in their life but is a board gamer will enjoy this because it's just a good board game. That makes me excited. And I was on this weird, like, I'm never crowdfunding anything again. I got really burned by one crowdfunding, Queen Games. You screwed me over. But I didn't like it, and I didn't back something for 3 years, and I swore off of it, and I'm not kidding you guys, and maybe we need to do a future episode on this, Jazz. I have backed 5 things right now. I hope the Queen is not. I have 5 things that I've backed at the moment, and I told myself I never would again, but I skipped out on it, and I just want to play it so bad. So when we get together next time, I want to play. That is our number one goal, is let's play baseball highlights.
Yeah, if we can definitely do that. I know me and Ruel have been talking about doing this for some time now. Yeah. But if we can get a fourth, it'll be perfect, because we can do 2-on-2 and have like our own little mini tournament, which is what I love about this game. Ruel, you're right there. This has always been at the top of the list for me, not only as one of my favorite sports games. It's always been at the top of the list as one of my favorite 2-player games of all time, one of my favorite games of all time. It's probably in my top 20 all time. It's just, I think sometimes it gets bumped up just because like recency bias, but it's one of those games that I think, as you explained it, it's one of those games that non-gamers can enjoy. But I think because of that, you hit it earlier, Reg, like people who are not into sports ball automatically push off, sports in general when it comes into the hobby, and vice versa. I really think that non-gamers should give this game a try mechanically, because I would think this game would soar to the top of many people's 2-players list just if the theme was different, right? It's as simple as, it, like we talked about Reggie liking the theme with the futuristic, but like having the humans, the cyborgs, the robots, the way those different cards work and their different like abilities is something that you see in a game where people are like, oh, I can't wait to draft that specific card that's in the row now in the purchase order, because I can get that card onto my team for my next game. And they did it. I think it was thematically it was brought in there perfectly, a way to do it, because it adds that element. Like you said, it's not just the Sammy Bonds or the the Mark Otani, whatever. It's not just those, it's not just those players that you'd be like, oh, I want to get to draft that player. It's you want to sometimes draft that specific robot because your opponent might have a lot of naturals on their team, so you want the robots or the cyborgs because they have the crazy pitching arm, so they can pitch better. Some of the players hit better. It's just so great on how you play this game. It becomes so back and forth tense. It is like this tug of war that you're playing that I love in 2-player games. So yeah, this needs to get a lot of love. People, if you listen to me and you are not a sports ball person, you do need to give this game a try. Just put the theme aside and play it, because it is that good.
Yeah, as you brought that up, Jazz, I'm glad you talked about the different types of players. So we have the 3 main are cyborgs, humans, and robots. So robots are really good at hitting. Cyborgs are really good at pitching, and then naturals are really good at defense. And so you can load up your players through a draft. There's a draft after each mini game where that's the deck building part of it. And what I love about this is the players that you draft, you send one of your players to the minors, which is also known as trashing a card in deck building. You trash that card, now it's got a better card, and you get to put that card on top of your deck, so you're going to immediately get to play that in the next game. So if I've drafted Barry Sosa, I know that big hitter is going to come up next into the next game. So it's a cool little bit of strategy, and I love the way this game plays. And the more we talk about it, it's like, dang it, I want to play it right now. Like, It's been a couple of months since I played. I need to play it.
Yeah. So yeah, it's good, and it's crazy because you lead me. I knew you were going to pick this game, Ruel, which is I told Reggie I'm going to not bring baseball highlights specifically because I know Ruel's going to bring it, and I'm glad you did, because I did want to talk about it because it is one of my favorites. But I will tell you that this game is starting to get right up there in the style of what it is, and it happens to be another soccer football game. This is Magic number 11. And Jay over at Cardboard East was the one who turned me onto this game on one of his YouTube videos. And I loved his channel because there's a lot of games that are published overseas in Japan and in Asia that we never get a chance to see here in the US. And it's one of those where like I look for conventions, and when publisher from overseas is going to be at that convention, now I have knowledge of what these games are so that I can actually play it or purchase it, because that's probably my only time to ever get the game in without playing all these crazy tariffs and all that other stuff, or ridiculous prices to import games that I have definitely most certainly done. Sorry, Delilah, but I have. But Magic number 11 is, again, a 2-player soccer game or football for those that are from other parts of the world, and
from the rest of the world.
It is
for everyone else.
For everyone else, right? It's another hand management game where players, and the thing is, the mechanics are so simplistic, but the strategies start to become very deep. And what I love about this game is, just like baseball highlights, those people who are not sports ball fans can really enjoy the mechanics in this game as well. And I knew that from the moment I got the first chance. I had got a review copy of it sent to me by the publisher, because I reached out and says, hey, how can I purchase this game? And I just want to, it's not coming to the US. He said, I will send you a copy of this game. And, if you can just introduce it to people, that would be awesome. And I've like shouted this game on various different podcasts, on different, PAX Unplugged, preview lists, because I think people need to know about this game if you get your hands on it. In the game, pretty much what you're going to be doing is, there's a soccer field that's on the board, and there's this little sideboard. It's like they call it a synergy control board, and players are going to be, you can either draft or you can just randomly divvy out the cards, but you're going to be getting soccer, what do you call it?
Positions, isn't it?
Player cards. Yeah.
Cards.
And your player cards are going to be 2 different things. You're going to be doing a team action, which allows you to either pass and draw what's called the synergy card, or you're going to press, which is meaning move up on this control marker, which is like a tug of war, which determine is your team playing more aggressively? Are they playing more passively? Are they playing more defensively? Then the second part of your turn is pretty much what they call the player action, which is, you can either take a card from your hand, a player, and play it out onto the board, or you can pretty much attack, like take a shot. And you want to build up your player, your board state. You're dropping names here. You want to put player board state, because as you play players next to each other, you'll see that there's going to be symbols that line up on the cards that are going to give you maybe more defensive, it makes your team more defensive, maybe give you more energy. They're going to give you more shot opportunities. And when you take a shot, you're gonna take your shot, and dependent on now where that control marker is on that control board, is going to determine how many cards, synergy cards, you can play out of your hand. But there's always going to be a synergy card that's going to be randomly placed from this deck. And how it's going to work is, both players are going to look at their cards that are on this control board that they've been allowed to play based on the board state of their team, and determine who has the higher number that shot is either going to score or it's going to miss. But what's really cool is that if you hit magic number 11 in your player as you're shooting, it's an automatic goal. But
awesome.
What's also really cool is there's an opportunity where there's penalty shots that could potentially come off based off of the cards that are placed, because you can play a card to foul the shooter, and there's an opportunity. Let's say,
they'll flop.
Yeah, let's say you didn't have a really good defensive turn, like cards in your hand to really probably defend. You might want to play the foul to prevent a score. And then you have this penalty deck, which pretty much, I'm going to choose out of my hand a card as the goalie, and I'm going to choose a card as the shooter. And if the symbols on it match up, it's blocked. Or if the symbols don't, it's score. So it's really cool.
Is it like a rock, paper, scissors?
It's almost like a rock, paper, scissors.
Okay.
And I played this at a convention with my buddy who is not a gamer. He sat there, and at the end, he's like, wow, this is a really good game. I just don't like sports ball at all. But he enjoyed the game in and of itself. He said this game is designed really well.
I've never heard of this game, so kudos to you, Jazz, for bringing this up. This
is it Korea? Fun. I was looking at the names. It looks like it might be Korea.
It's a Korean publisher. The publisher, I believe, is Pluto Games. And I don't even want to butcher the designer.
Don't.
Bong Wan-ju, I think. Bong Wan-ju.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a great game. It's this little small package. They even came out with the an expansion that I have that allows you, has a little dexterity element too, and corner kicks as well in it. It's really cool.
Very nice.
I like seeing the little symbols match up. That's really cool. That is a nice little thing when you're creating your team. But now that I'm a mega super soccer fan, football fan, I think I need to get this game. I'll go into my last one. I have one here. I do have some like honorable mentions, but what I almost did for this slot. So I'll just say them real quick because one, you made me think of Best 11. We've already talked about on the show. And that is a game that already backed on Kickstarter. I think it's supposed to be fulfilling at late this year. It is a soccer game with like auction and bidding, and Shipley Illustrations is over on Instagram. He did it. It's his game, and I loved it so much, and I was so proud to do a video on it, and I can't wait to get my production. I think, Matthew, if you're listening, I think I'm getting a final production copy later, and I will be playing that a lot because it really reminded me of a lot of games I like. So shout that one out. I probably will like it even more now that I'm actually a soccer fan. And when I looked up the sports category, I don't know how you guys found this up. When I looked up the sports category, one of the highest rated games under sports is Challengers. Because it's like a tournament. And I was like, okay, first of all, I've talked our listeners' ears off about Challengers, so I'm not going to talk about it anymore. But that is funny. I don't think of it as a sports-themed game, but whatever. The game I chose, I played for the first time at Origins, and it's new to me. And it is fishing. And I was like, fishing is a sport. So it is Friendly Fishing is the name of the game here. This is from Gamehead. If you've heard about Gamehead, you probably know they're really a newer publisher that is putting out like 6 games at a time, like doing waves. This is in that second wave of games, and they're already working on the third wave of 6. So they come in these nice small boxes. They're a little bit bigger than the all play size box. And this one is called Friendly Fishing because it is a semi-cooperative game, and there's set collection going on. It's very similar to, the typical set collection you love, and love in terms of like, the Sushi Go style games. The designers are Bruno Faiduti and Alex Randolph, which is a really cool combination. And basically there's a hex board in the middle, and there's a boat, and we're all in the same boat, which I love just saying because it's a phrase, we're all in the same boat here, people. And someone moves the boat token to an adjacent fish, and you collect that fish. It's that easy. I mean, like on your turn, you move and collect a fish. You'll want to the next player to be set up for a good turn because there's a twist at the end of the game. You combine your score with the left neighbor's score. I'm reading that straight from the rulebook. That is the twist of the game, is I'm going to score for all the fish in front of me, but I'm also going to score for all the fish in front of the player to my left. So if it's me, Jazz, and Ruel playing, and Ruel's on my left, all I care about is setting Ruel up really good. I don't give a damn about Jazz over here, but Jazz is also setting me up well because he wants me to score well. And so it's this really clever little twist of like, I'm obviously going to do the best set collection I can, but I actually want to set the next person in turn order up really well to get a good fish for themselves because I'm just going to score all their points as well. It is 2 to 5 players, and I've played it at all the player counts except 2. 2, you just play and you just whoever has the best score. But the whole twist is gone at 2 players, so it's kind of like Velomino, which I just said. I really think it's a 3 to 5 player game in my personal opinion, and it's just beautiful. Again, I'm really loving how Gamehead is doing such a big game in this small package, and I just like the idea of like, it's not like the Between Two Cities or the Seven Wonders or those games where you're caring about both neighbors. It's just like, I only care about my neighbor to the left. I really don't care about this person. And it's just a funny little mechanism. And fishing, I'm like, that is a cute little thing. It's animals. It's like a bear, an otter, and a raccoon. We're all in the same boat moving around. There's these really fun special tiles like that really change the scoring up, and you only throw 2 of the 6 in every game, or maybe 3 in some games. One of them is called the Lunker. That's like our favorite, and it's just whoever got the last lunker gets the points. Okay, so if I grab one, there's 3 of them. So if I grab one and then 2 turns later, Jazz grabs a lunker, mine just gets discarded. I like that one. There's one that there's a 3 kingfish, and if you get 2 of the 3, you just instantly win the game. There's a couple where you want to collect a lot of them, because if you only collect one, it's -2. A second one is 5 points. A third one is 12 points. So it's like risky to grab one. So there's a lot of little things like those typical set collection things you see. So set collection, semi-cooperation, Friendly Fishing is my second sports-related game.
Yeah, we've talked about this one, Reg, and it's this one, going into Origins? We talked about this one.
Yeah, I think that's when we talked about it. Yeah.
Yeah, this one looks good. It was up my alley. I love the design team here, and I think the idea of friendly fishing, going out on a boat with some friends, and but the idea of your score pairing up with your opponent's your opponent's score is something that's really cool. I like games that do that and do it well. So yeah, I'm excited to check this one out.
Yeah, same here. I'd seen this, but it just totally I just saw it and like passed over it. But now you described it, Reggie. I was like, okay, I need to play this. The first thing I thought of, and you mentioned it was between two cities, but you only give a damn about one city.
One city, yeah.
I'm like, okay, that's sort of cool. I like that twist,
clever.
and as you said, just like Velomino, it's not really a 2-player game. This got to be a 3-player game. Got to have that twist in there, and I can't wait to try it.
Awesome. All right, your last one here, Ruel. Our last sports theme game. What do you got for us?
Yeah, so I had a bunch picked for this, so I'm calling an audible. I was gonna talk about Crokinole, but we sort of talked about it already. So I have one of my backups as an audible. I'm going with Magical Athlete. So
I love it.
I almost did
love
this one.
this game. Right? It's so fun. So what's like the purest form of competition, right? Running. It's just a race. Yeah. So let's see who can run the fastest. But in Magical Athlete, it's 4 races. Whoever has the most points after 4 wins a game. It's got the coolest little meeples. There's like, I don't know, like a couple of dozen of these meeples, and each one has a different ability, a different card, and you draft at the start of the game. Everyone's going to draft 4 racers, and that's your team. And each race, you're going to use one of your racers. And what I love, it's the easiest mechanism ever. It's roll and move. Everyone has a die. You roll on your turn, you roll the die. That's how many spaces you move. But then each character has a different ability. So you may go extra movement. You may lose movement. You may do other things based on who's playing and what characters are in the game. You do that 4 times, collect points, and the winner has most points. It's so simple, but it's so engaging. Like every game I played with this, people always end up shouting, and to me, that's a mark of a great party game. And it's like, go, 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 no, or whatever happens. This one I've played with hardcore gamers and with casual gamers. It's always been a hit. Only one person I know of didn't like this game, and I'm going to shout her out right now. It's Bondsnader. She did not like this game.
Shout out to Bonds.
Yeah, she hated this game. I was like, whoa, Bonds.
I get it. I mean,
I know it's not every game is for everyone. I get it, but it was so funny to hear her. Like, she went on this big rant when she did the R&R show with me a few months ago, and it was hilarious. Nothing but love for Bonds. And watch that. Yeah, nothing but love for Bonds. But yeah, I love this game. It's a lot of fun, and for sports, I think it captures that feeling of, hey, we've got a lot of people invested in this, and as a group, we are cheering or groaning together, and that's why that was my audible for the episode, Magical Athlete.
I love it. And audible is a sports term for the dear gentle listeners out there.
That's right.
But Bondsnader, I didn't even shout her out. I should have earlier. She's the one who sold me Velomino. I actually bought it from her at Dice Tower West at the flea market, which is so funny. But we've talked about it many times. I almost picked Hot Streak because it's like sports mascots.
Yeah.
You know, and Hot Streak and Magical Athlete are both great games. I own both of them. I've gone on record. I think Hot Streak I prefer Hot Streak by like this much because of the fiddly. The thing about Magical Athlete that's interesting is it is so simple. You just roll a dice, but there's an entire like pamphlet in the book about fiddly details because there's so many edge cases. It's like if you run into an infinite loop with Huge Baby, you just run it. So shout out to Huge Baby. There's so many I love. I love the heckler where you just, if anybody only moves one space or less, you just move. You get to move because you're laughing at people. Flip flop. There's so many good. The production on a game like that is so great. Yeah, I love it. I'm bringing both of them to Dad Weekend. That's what we call it when me and my buddies get together, and that is tonight. I'm leaving tonight, and so both of them will get played. So that's great that you shouted that out. Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, that's
Anything
one
there,
that
Jazz?
I considered bringing that one as well. Listen, I'm glad I didn't because me and Ruel we're on the same wavelength.
You guys are on
here.
the same wavelength. You're
Totally.
jigsawing all the time. Awesome. Okay, we are getting close to time. We're going to go right into our En La Mesa. So we're just going to give our first impressions. And I think we have some bigger games here, so I want to get right into it. The 3 games are coming up, and we'll let our guest, of course, you just heard him talk. We're going to let Ruel go again with his game, Star Wars Battle for Hoth. Or Battle of Hoth? What
Battle
is it?
of Hoth, yes.
Battle of Hoth.
Yeah. This one, so I wasn't really sure what to bring to En La Mesa because, I like you guys, we play a ton of games. So, like, what do you pick? And I had not played any sports games. I wanted to keep it in the sports theme. And I figured, Battle of Hoth, I know Jazz and I share a love of Star Wars. Reggie, I forget, are you a Star Wars nerd as well?
I am a Star Wars fan.
Okay.
It ranks in like 7th on my favorite IPs.
Okay.
I know that, but I do love Star Wars, especially Andor.
Yeah. So definitely top 10. Well, this one, it has a very sports-like feel because it's a 1v1 and we're battling, obviously, over Hoth. This is a re-implementation of Memoir 44. So if you've played Memoir 44, you've played Battle Hoth, but I'm going to tell you right now, Battle Hoth is the better game. Not only thematically, but they've streamlined a bunch of stuff. And I feel like it's a lot easier to get to the table, but you still have that like war game style experience. But again, it's in Star Wars. It's so much better. One side is going to be the Imperial side. The other side is going to be those, rebel scum. And you're going to play against each other.
Rebel scum.
It's a card-driven game, so you're going to shuffle up your cards. You're going to, play. You'll have a hand of cards, and you play them one at a time, and it's all tactical movement. You're moving on, the hexagon tiles and everything, trying to set yourself up so you can attack your opponents. You have your left flank, right flank, etc., etc. So there's war game terms and stuff, but it's done in such a accessible and approachable way that I think anyone can play this game, whether you're a big Star Wars fan or not, or, a war game-ish fan or not. It's a skirmish game, and you're just trying to complete objectives. They change from scenario to scenario. There's, I think, at least a dozen scenarios in this one. I'm hoping for an expansion to do more. But basically, each side goes out there. You have all the different ships and troops and stuff, depending on the scenario. You may have some snow speeders. You may have the AT-ATs, etc. Your ground troops as well. Play a card, move, and if you're within range, you can fight, etc. I love everything about this game, and I think the main thing I love is, well, it's Star Wars, of course, but also, it was really easy to get to the table. The rules are pretty clear. Where I felt like Memoir 44, it was again, the Memoir 44 is an introductory style of war game as well, but I felt like it was a little more fiddly than Star Wars, and I feel like Star Wars just ironed out some of the fiddliness. And I love it. I want to get this one back to the table. I played it with Becca over on Good Morning Society. She enjoyed it as well. She won, so of course she loved it. But we had a good time with it. And I feel like this is just one of those games. As a Star Wars fan, this one's definitely never leaving my collection, and that is Star Wars Battle of Hoth.
I love it. I want to play it so badly because I've always been interested in those like undaunted Memoir 44s, and then you put this awesome theme on it, and it's cool that you said it streamlined it, because I was surprised when we did I should go back real quick. We did our Board Game Awards season episode 16, if you want to go back and listen to it, people. We talked about it got nominated for like Light Game of the Year, Best Welcoming Game, to Best Two-Player Game on a couple things on Golden Geeks and on Dice Tower. And so I like that idea of like a war game that is accessible and also puts a theme that so many people and families love. My board game club guy, Jake, him and his son play this all the time. And I've been telling him, if we ever get just me and him, we need to play it, but it's rare.
Nice.
Yeah, this is one that I was on the verge of purchasing myself. I think I have a local friend who did pick up a copy of this. This is one, I guess it's one of those I want to play first before, because I used to own Memoir 44. I really enjoyed it. I didn't get to the table as much as I would like. Again, I don't have like my 2-player games that I get a chance to play with is my wife, so she's not as much of a Star Wars fan as I am. But she has been playing the Star Wars deck building game, so maybe this is a chance I can. And she's loving that one, so maybe this is one that I could possibly get or borrow from a friend and try it out with her. Because I did love Memoir 44, but like you said, Ruel, hearing what you said about it, it's like streamlining some of the things and also cleaning up some of the things. Yeah, I think I've got to try this one out now.
Yeah. One thing I should mention is like each side does have those characters that you could plug into the game as well. So the rebels, you can have like a Princess Leia or a Han Solo or Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader on the other side, etc. So you do have those things that you could add in the game and really enhance the experience. And yeah, I love it. I think both of you would love this game as well.
Nice. One I'm going to add to the collection then. So my game's coming from Ivy Studios. This is a publisher that's been just putting out some beautifully published games. They have everything from your standard editions to your like super deluxe edition. So whatever your pocket can handle, you can get it. But the great thing is that every game's going to give you the same play, the play style. You're not going to be missing anything depending on which version you get, just the blinginess. But this is Brink. Now, Brink is a 2 to 5 player, I guess it's a space exploration game. We're back with space, Reggie. I don't know how I do it all the time, but it's this like
Always.
Worker placement, trading, hidden role movement, not hidden role, but hidden voting system in there. And I was just going through on the Ivy Studios like rank game list and like what's game that they have highest rank, and this is down, and I don't know why it's down so low because I had this as one of my favorite games of theirs, and I'm just gonna. There's a lot going on in this game because it is a heavier style game, but this is pretty much has this like hex style board where there's like going to be this 5 tile hex that goes out in the center of the board that starts like each hex has different factions or that it belongs to, and players are going to have this like hidden shield in their little player area, and they have 3 different types of ships, and the different ships have different influence power in them, right? And you're going to be placing these different ships out onto the board, and you're going to be collecting resources. But what's cool is that depending on the different types of ships, one ship only connects between 2 different regions. The other ship, it only goes in one spot, so it can only get the resource of one region.
I'm seeing that here
one
on the
connects
pictures.
between
Yeah.
2 regions, so allows you to choose this space or that space to collect your resource, and the other one is connects 3 regions, which is interesting because that's part of the influence power that you're placing out onto the board, which has a role later on in the game as well on what resources you're able to gather. But after the round structure is pretty much you're going to be using the hex board, you're going to be drawing a hex, like placing hexes out, or discovering new hexes, and then you're going to be collecting your resources after you place your ships out onto the board on your turn. After players are doing this and exploring the map, and obviously it's getting larger and more vast, you take your resources, and some resources are going to stay out in front of you, okay? And some resources you can gather, and they come into your player area where only you know what you have. But as you go through the game, after you explore and you turn, there's going to be an opportunity to trade. So the resources that are out available for players, you can trade amongst those other players. And again, like almost like Moonrakers, Moonrakers is their #1 game ranked. I didn't like Moonrakers because I ran into a lot of stalling with the trading. I thought I was going to run into that with this game as well, but for me, I didn't because of the other aspects of the game. I feel like this game forces you to trade, right? Because certain players are looking for certain things, which I really enjoyed about
Cool.
it.
And isn't this in the Moonrakers universe?
It is in
Like
the
this is
Moonrakers universe,
yeah.
And then after you trade to gather the resources you want, you're going to be playing action cards. So you get a chance to draw new action cards, keep one, discard one, I believe. And after you get your action cards, then you're going to look at your ambassadors, because there's those little ambassadors that you can hire onto your team that kind of give you more influence in certain spots, maybe give you more resources. They have different abilities. There's these, they call the rider cards, right? I guess they're like the ship riders. Then you get a chance to get one of those out onto the board that's going to influence the voting stage a little bit later, which is called the council phase, right? So you have a chance to affect how that voting is based on what riders are out on the board. And then you get into a possibility of upgrading your ships. Some attachments you can do, you go up like different, it's like a tech track, which I love games that have tech tracks, but you can go up one path or the other, and you can either add your ship can have more cargo, or it can have more guns. So the guns will give it more power, the cargo will let it gather more goods. And after all of that is done, you start getting into this council phase where players are going to take the resources that they've gathered, and they can on their board put these into different spots based off of the factions, and dependent on which factions get more votes, that's going to determine how certain areas are going to score based off of the influence out on the board and whatnot. So it's this really cool like tug of war back and forth, but it also has like these faction objectives, or almost like these like little I guess I would call them like satellites or space station types of things, that can come out onto the board if you can get them onto your side, and you can have the power of that. And those kind of influence, the different factions will do different things. Some will give you like more power, some will give you a different resource that you can use. It's just there's a lot going on in this game, but those little mechanics, they all function, they work together. I think this game will be a turnoff for those people that really are bad, like really don't like the idea of that voting or that trading portion. But I think I didn't like it in Moonrakers, and I know they fixed it. From my understanding, I spoke to Austin over at Ivy Studios when he asked what I thought of Moonrakers. Like, I wasn't a big fan of it, and he says the expansion, you'll like it. check it out. But I was like, I didn't get a chance to check it out. I wasn't hyped because I'm one of those things where if I don't really like the game, I don't want an expansion sometimes to fix it for me. But I knew it went well for others. So I didn't want to like try it out and then it's still not really hit my itch. But this one, because of the worker placement, I really enjoyed it. I think it's something that people should check out a little bit more if they like all of those mechanics together.
I have not played Brink, but I do love Ivy Studios games. I think they do some of the best production in the industry right now, and also
in the game.
Yeah, it's just beautiful productions. The games I played with them, I've enjoyed all of them, and I feel like Brink, for whatever reason, it just sort of flew under the radar, at least as far as like Ivy Studios is concerned. Like they always have these huge campaigns, right? Like Veiled Fate, Moonrakers, etc., etc. And their games always feature. I want to say all their games feature some really interesting player interaction. There's a lot of player interaction in their games. I think of Veiled Fate. I think of Moonrakers that, even though I know it wasn't for you, Jazz, the expansion, I do remember playing the expansion. Again, it's been a couple of years since I played it, but I do remember that experience I felt was better than the base game.
Okay.
As far as everyone at the table was concerned, because we'd all played the base before. So definitely something to check out. But Brink, it seems like my type of game. I feel like I would really enjoy it, especially after you talked about it. And it's definitely a thinker. I feel like it's probably one of their heavier games. I would assume. Yeah,
and it definitely is.
Maybe that's why people sort of bounce off of it. Like they have a certain expectation of what they want from Ivy Studio. But I really enjoy all their games. The last one I played, I think, was Tend, which was their roll and write. Which
I still need to play it.
Dude, that game nearly broke my brain. I was like really, I was super impressed by it. But I was like, whoa, this is but it was a terrific game. But Brink, I definitely need to get this one to the table sometime.
I've been really impressed with Ivy Studio. I really want to play Tend. So, Austin, if you are listening to this, please, Rolling Reggie would love to work with Ivy Studios. I really, truly love what they're doing. Yeah.
I'll let you know. I think Austin is looking. He just posted in a Facebook group that they're looking for reviewers for Tend specifically and upcoming games. So.
I got to get on Facebook. Yeah, because I got to play Altera, and it's funny because Altera doesn't really do that interaction as much as their other games. Mm-hmm. I've played Fractured Sky and Mythic Mischief, and I like those a lot. Awesome, Brink. That's a great choice. I like the idea of trading, and it's like more structured trading. I want to see if I would really enjoy that. So you said Audible. I actually did a mulligan this morning. We'll go another sports term from golf here. Last night or a couple of days ago, we had decided to do this episode, and I had chose a different game, but I'm switching up because last night I got to play Puerto Rico 1897 with what I call, we're going to go from Star Wars to Lord of the Rings, our friend group, The Fellowship, which is Warner, Colin, my buddy Colin, and Alba, who, by the way, who we had on the show, she says hello to both of you, Ruel and Jazz, today. Yes, I know. Awesome. She said she's talked to you, Ruel, so
yeah. Alba's great. Yeah.
She's the best.
I hope to meet her in real life soon. Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah. And so we played Puerto Rico, which we have a running joke that it is the Father Abraham of all games. And I've talked about this many times on the podcast, but I'll just say it again. Puerto Rico came out, and then Andreas Seaforth is the designer. Him and Tom Lehman kind of got together to work on a miniature version of that game. And that ended up being San Juan. But if you read the designer diaries, what ended up happening is Tom and him actually started to disagree on what they wanted to do. So Andreas went and finished San Juan, and guess what Tom Lehman went and made? Can you guess, Ruel? Do you know?
I don't know.
You know it, Jazz. You know it, Jazz?
Race for the Galaxy.
Race for the Galaxy. So he goes and makes Race. So Race for the Galaxy and San Juan are kind of like cousins, right?
Yeah.
And then come out. Now it all comes back. Then shout out to my girl Liz Hargrave. Her husband tells her, hey, why don't you make Race for the Galaxy, but with birds? So then she makes Wingspan. So really, Puerto Rico is like the great-grandfather of Wingspan. So that's how it goes. We talk about it all the time. And there's a lot of other games that are like, oh yeah, Puerto Rico inspired me, or San Juan inspired me to do this. It's kind of crazy how many designers are like, this game inspired me. So this was actually my fourth play. I've played it at 2-player, 3-player, and now 4-player. And we played it with Alba's husband, Zach. And The one thing I'll say about it right away is the setup, it was a little bit tough here. And I had a buddy, Tabletop Vibes, message me recently too. He's great on Instagram. And he was saying that he has the new special edition, which is amazing. And he was talking about how great that is. I have not played that. This is the original Puerto Rico 1897, the first one to really revamp the theme, which we've talked about many times. 1897 is this year where they're in a small window. The country, or the island of Puerto Rico, is in this small window of outside after Spanish colonization, but before U.S. annexation. It was like a 2 or 3 year gap, and 1897 is 1 year. So all the farmers are their own farmers that gets there, Puerto Rican farmers who are doing their own thing. So it's awesome with our heritage, Jazz and I too, to finally play this game as well. But pretty much it is, it's one of the progenitors of this thing called the follow action, okay? That's what you'll find on Board Game Geek. And what happens is there are multiple roles, and the roles have an action associated with them. They're called the builder and the trader or the craftsman. And what happens is one player picks that action. So I'll pick the builder, right? And I'll get to build a building. The person who picks the role gets an advantage, okay? And so the builder advantage is I get to build a building for 1 coin less. And then in turn order, going from left to right, everybody else gets to build. Okay, then let's say it's Zach's turn. He picks plant. When you plant, you get to grab an estate. All the different goods are pretty straightforward. It's like the fruit, the corn, the sugar, the tobacco, and the coffee, which are the real exports of Puerto Rico. And if you are the planter, you get to also instead build a quarry, and quarries allow you to get discounts in the future. So there's always an advantage for the person who grabs the role, but then everybody takes that action everywhere. So what's really nice about this game, and the one thing I'll just say as the takeaway is, you are engaged on every turn. It is a Euro, but you are not waiting at 4 players. When I pick an action, I get a little bonus, but then everybody does their turn on that same turn. And then Zach takes his turn, and we all take an action. Then Alba takes her turn, and we all take an action. So there's just this awesome dynamic of like, there's never a time where you're twiddling your thumbs, like at all. It is every single turn something is happening. What's interesting about it is you have to build these estates so that they're the goods. So you have a little fruit thing. You have to have a worker on that estate to work the field. Then you have to have a building. I have to have a fruit warehouse that holds the fruit, and I have to have workers in that fruit warehouse so that when we produce, I can produce it. You have to have 2 buildings and 2 workers on there. And so those are 3 separate roles. You have to plant, build, and recruit workers onto it. So you really are relying on other players to take that action for you. And so that's where Race for the Galaxy comes in too. You want to get the advantage that you need, and you want to hope that, oh man, I really hope that, Colin does the build action so that I don't have to, and I can do the captain action this turn. And then you ship the goods off, or you can sell goods for money, but the shipping the goods off is the most cutthroat thing. There's only a certain number of ships. And once corn goes on the ship, it's a corn ship until it's full. So there's 3 ships out there. There was a corn ship, a sugar ship, and a fruit ship. And those ships have already been loaded up. I can't load any other goods. So I was sitting on like 5 barrels of tobacco, and there was nowhere for it to go. And after that action happens, all of it spoils except for 1 barrel, which is really brutal. So like there's a lot of cutthroatness and interaction in a game that really feels like an original Euro. The only other thing I would say is there's all these buildings that give you special powers, and at least in the version I have of Puerto Rico 1897, there's just no, outside of the rule book, there's no player aid, there's nothing on the back. You just have to know what they do, or look them up in the book. And so I do have one that I printed out and laminated that helped a little bit, but I just feel like it would do so well from a player aid, and I wonder if the new special edition has that. That would be really cool. So my final takeaway from it is that, oh man, I lost my train of thought here. Puerto Rico 1887. It's a game where it was number 1 on BGG for so long, right? I don't know, like 10 years or something like that. Mm-hmm. And it's just one of those games that you just have to have a game group, and you need to play it every week. I think that is where this game shines. Every time I pull it out, I feel like I have to relearn the rules and relearn the setup. And I just am committed now to bringing this out more often, because it's just, once I get it under my belt some more, I feel like it goes smoother, and it doesn't have a great first play, to be honest, but it is one of those games that's so deep. And if you want a game that is deep, like, it's really hard to beat Puerto Rico 1897.
Yeah, it's this one, the original, I know, theme wise, it turned a lot of people off, but I can also see why design wise, it was one of the greatest games out ever, just because of what strategically it does in the board game space, right? It's so highly strategic. I know there's people who are like, it's almost like Scythe, right? For those people who are more newer gamers who know more about Scythe, it's like one of those where like, people who knew what the first turn was, what the second turn was, like they mapped it, mapped this out to, really, optimize your turns. And when you're playing with those types of people, you're always going to feel like you're undermatched. And I feel like when I first played this game, I had a copy of 1897. I didn't get a chance to play it yet. My game group had the old Aaliyah. We were playing through the old Aaliyah collection. We played it, and like you, Reggie, was like my first play. It was like I knew what I was doing because I came from playing San Juan Die Hard. I played all the time. I knew what it does. I knew what all the roles do, so I could strategically play that game. But this is a Meteor, so I had to learn it. But this game, of course, just holds a special place in my heart. I know when Jason Perez was working on the redesigning of this, he had reached out to me on some things and some topics of what I thought. So my name is in the back of that rule book, so I have a copy of it just for that. But I also have the special edition. I haven't got a chance to play my special edition yet. It's on my shelf as a nice trophy. But I couldn't even answer to you.
We have so many trophies, so many trophies in our respective rooms.
So I couldn't answer if they fixed the issue with like certain buildings not having the explanations on them. I forget. I know I have the edition with like the monuments, so I think the monuments don't say anything, so you still have to keep the like acrylic tiles here. So you just play with the acrylic tiles. The monuments are there just for for show.
I've got two thoughts on this. First one, Jazz, you just alluded to it. The original game, problematic theme, of course, and I really appreciate what Jason Perez and also you and other folks did to develop the new one. In my wish list, I wish that Burnt Island Games would take Puerto Rico and do what they did with Endeavor Deep Sea. They took a problematic theme in Endeavor and made it better. I mean, Endeavor Deep Sea is one of my favorite games of recent years, so I would love to see them get their hands on it. Second thought, Reggie, the follow mechanism, one of my favorite mechanisms in board games. I love it for the reasons you talked about. You're always engaged. The follow mechanism, I think right off the top of my head, Twilight Imperium. You have the strategy cards and stuff. And also, what was the other game? I just had it on top of my tongue.
Carnegie, Raising Sun.
Terraforming Mars, Ares Expedition.
Oh, yes.
They took that follow mechanism. I do not play regular Terraforming Mars now. I only play Ares Expedition because of that mechanism. I love it. And awesome. Those are my thoughts on Puerto Rico 1897.
Love it, man. We did such a good job. I can't believe it. We got we're a little over time, but I think we did great. I just want to say thank you, Ruel, for being here. It's been so awesome to have you. You are our third guest, our illustrious guest. We'll bring some more on, and we wanted to do a special one for episode 20. So, Ruel, do you mind just telling the people, the dearest gentle listeners, the DGLs out there, where they can find you on the interwebs?
Yeah, before I do that, I just want to thank you, Reggie and Jazz, for having me. I appreciate you guys, and also appreciate your friendship and what you do to keep the industry a positive place to be. And I can't wait till we all actually hang out again in real life. Hopefully that's sooner rather than later. DGLs, thank you for joining us today. You can find me all over the interwebs at Ruel Gaviola, RuelGaviola. Blue Sky, Instagram, all that stuff. I am on the weekly show Good Morning Society on the Good Time Society channel every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific. I also do stuff on my channel, Tabletop Tonight, and also for the Rado channel. We do the R&R show occasionally. And I do a bunch of other stuff like podcasts and everything, but just go to my link tree. You can find all the links to all my work there.
Awesome. And you'll see me on that R&R show with Ruel very, very soon.
So,
yes. Very soon. So thank you much. All right, Jazz, you want to play us out, my friend?
Yeah. Ruel, thanks so much, man. Your friendship means a lot, man. Not only that, the things that you do for other content creators in the industry, the way you kind of just take people under your wing, just are always there, always available. It means a lot. So, this is for me personally from the heart, man. I truly do appreciate that. But again, before we close out, we always give a huge shout out to our podcast music from my boy Judge, aka @Dre the producer, over on IG, and our buddy Kenan over at Punchboard Cathedral for the awesome board game logo. And we also want to thank the DGLs because you could be listening to us right here talk about the best hobby in the world, and we thank you for that, because you could be doing anything else right now, but you chose to listen to us right here on Board States, the podcast, where friends become rivals and the board states decide the outcome. We will see you on the next one.
Nos vemos.